Hi people, welcome back. If it's your first time, my name is Talia Adewale and this is DISBYDEM. I'm going to be talking about The Circle, episode 6 to 8. Shout out to the person who left a comment on my last rant video. I was so hot about that. You guys don't even know. You don't even know. But shout out to you who said that I should watch the rest and I most likely do another rant video. It's not going to be a rant video, we're just going to be talking because there's some points that I like. I was like, but it wasn't as deep as episode 5. But let's just hop into it. It's gonna be a quick recap. Like I'm not even like diving deep. In episode 6, I wrote that Cassie was jealous and sloppy. She was jealous because new people came in, Autumn and Jordan, and they'd all tried to get one-on-one talks with the new people who came into the house. And as soon as Autumn picked somebody else, Cassie flipped. It was like a switch. It's like if you don't do what she wants you to do, you're automatically like terrible in her books. I just didn't like Cassie anymore. Like I just didn't. I fell completely out of love with Cassie. I still love her accent and the way she speaks because it's very musical, but didn't like her. And also I didn't call this out, even though I wasn't a big fan of Steffi's. She called out all the catfish. She named every last one of them in episode 5. So big up to Steffi for having that psychic connection and actually being like correct. But yeah, back to Cassie. I was just like, no, thank you. Anywho, I also wrote down that Kyle is very smart. However, he and Paul are playing very emotional games. In episode 6, it was the first time that we actually got to know Kyle one-on-one, like actually feel emotion from him. Because in all Kyle's conversations, it's all just been surfaced and very strategic, and not even hiding that it was very strategic. There's just no heart in any of the conversations. The Circle is a social game. It's a social experiment. It's a popularity contest. Yes, you're trying to find catfish along the way, but it's not even about the catfish. It's about who can be most popular and win the money. And I think they've lost the sight of the game in the end. Like the only person who was playing a very strategic game was Queen QT. And yeah, in the following episodes, her game starts to implode a little bit, but we'll get there. Anywho, that was all that I kind of wrote down for episode 6. Moving on to the ratings come in for episode 6 after they've done their votes and everything. Cassie came in 7th. Olivia was 6th, which is kind of weird considering she was number 1, which makes the number 1 really sus in the first place because Olivia was not on anybody's radar and then became an influencer, and I was like, how? So I kind of called sauce on that, but it wasn't a big deal because I don't mind Bolivia. 5th place was Carezzo, Paul. 4th was Miles, and third was Lauren. 2nd and 1st were Kyle and QT. QT 2nd, Kyle 1st, which was kind of nice for Kyle. I mean, he kind of shut up the rankings there because I think he was 4th or 5th in the last one. I can't really remember, but yeah, good for him. I was shocked that QT wasn't number 1. She played so many people and attached so many strings. I really thought that she was going to make it to number 1, but 2 is still an influencer, so no big deal. Episode 7, they had to decide who they were going to block. Kyle and Olivia had buried the hatchet earlier in episode 6. They had a very down to earth conversation, which is where we saw glimpses of Paul's humanity. I should say no, but that was where we actually got to see emotions from Kyle. Why was I saying Paul? Sorry. From Kyle. Kyle and Olivia had buried the hatchet in episode 6, and so Kyle was not going to block Olivia in this. Cassie ended up being blocked, and I was happy with it. Honestly, I was like, bye, good riddance. Thank you. We have another country girl anyway, so it's all good. So sad. What happened to this other country girl? We will get to it. Cassie had the opportunity to meet one of the players, and she chose Bolivia, and I was like, oh, I don't know that I like this because Cassie is the kind of girl to shove you in front of a train. No shade, no tea, but she is. They ended up talking about her alliances and, dishing about Miles and QT. Cassie spilled the entire tea. And it was here that Cutie's game started to implode slowly, especially in the chat the next morning where Kyle was like, you know what, it was a hard decision, but I preferred you guys more than I liked her. And Cutie came out and said, oh, she's feeling betrayed, basically just selling out herself. And I was like, Cutie, you're a better player than this. What are you doing? Why are you letting me down? If you're going to be evil in the game. Let's know that you're a terrible person, but at least you're a good player. You know, it's facts. I may not fuck with Cutie in real life, but on the game, on the circle, she is prime entertainment, and that's what we're paying the subscription for, you know. So her game was starting to implode a little bit, not too much, but there's definitely seen the threads coming off, like off the whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Brolivia takes on Cassie's vendetta. If you know where that's from, let me know in the comment section. But I'm like, Brolivia, focus on your game. Don't go feeling hurt for other people who have left. You are still here. Yes, maybe you heard one thing from somebody, but go have a conversation with them. Suss it out for yourself. That's what people don't think. They don't realize that Sally says of Susie says more about Sally than Susie. Go and talk to Susie. Figure it out for yourself. Have a conversation, and if you feel that they're not being real in the conversation, then you have your answer. Don't just run with it. Miles has been nothing but honest. I didn't like Miles when he first got in, and then he was honest within like 30 minutes, and I was like, you know what, he's honest. I respect that. He might not be my flavor, but he is honest, and we love honesty on this channel. Why they were coming for Miles, every single person was coming for Miles in episode 7, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, he's not my favorite person. I mean, honestly, he is top for me right now, but like, he's been honest. If there's one thing that you can give to Miles, is that he has never lied. He has been completely honest, even to his detriment. So why are they calling for Miles? Oh, no, they need to back up. So Brolivia needs to check their game, because they're not playing. They're being a little too emotional for a cause that is not theirs to carry. Anywho, they play, I said that Jordan is being sloppy, because I don't really understand Jordan's gameplay here. He's coming in a little hot. And why does he have such a hard-on for Miles? What is it about Miles that just triggers Jordan so much? Miles is not even the puppet master. QT is the puppet master. How is he going for Miles so hard? I just don't understand it. But it is what it is. They play a game, and they ended up matching them. Ride or die secret partnership. QT was matched with Jordan. Paul was matched with Kyle. I was like, oh no, nobody likes Paul. Nobody in that house likes Paul. And Kyle just got influencer, which means that people were starting to turn around on Kyle. And now he was matched with the least liked person in the house. I didn't think that was going to end well for anybody. Lauren was matched with Autumn, and then Brolivia and Miles matched together. And they, obviously, Brolivia has a hard-on for Miles because of Cassie, and is like, okay, but now it's announced that you're ride or die. You're going to be blocked together. If one of them gets blocked, you could potentially be blocked together and eliminated from the show. So now Brolivia and Miles have to play nice and, you know, form an alliance and have a plan and stick to it. So, because they're dependent on each other. Moving forward to episode 8, they're playing this game, and Lauren messed up. She started that whole pile up on Autumn, and I think that she wanted to switch it. I think she wanted to do most likely QT and least likely Autumn, but because she was so stressed and so panicked about the whole decision and gameplay and strategy, like, it just messed up her entire game, and she started that pile up on Autumn. Poor Autumn was catching strays. In fact, they weren't even straight. They were direct hits. People were standing in front of her and laying it thick into this poor girl. And for what? I don't even understand how Autumn became the one. How did she become the one? How? They don't even know this girl. She literally just came in. Nobody has had conversations with her. So how did she become the person? And it's because Lauren started it, unfortunately. And it makes no sense. Lauren's future in the house is tied to Autumn. So why? Why even throw your partner's name out there? It just made no sense to me. I think Lauren's game was terrible. But in the end, they were safe. So I was like, are they messing with us? Are the producers messing with us? Because there's no way, based on the pylon, you should think that Autumn would have been rated last. There's no way. It just doesn't, it didn't make sense to me, honestly. And Kyle and Paul got lowest, which I can understand Paul being the lowest ranked. So unfortunately for Kyle, he attached he attached his destiny to the wrong person in that house, and it obviously ended on a cliffhanger where they were like, oh, you have a choice between Kyle and Paul. They had a choice to either sacrifice themselves and then their partner will get to stay, or they stay and their partners, or if both of them choose to sacrifice themselves, they both go. If both of them choose to stay, they both go. So somebody, just one person had to sacrifice themselves, and you don't have a conversation between yourselves. It's on the spot. Now, do we think that Perez is going to sacrifice herself? No way. Knowing fully well that she's the least liked. Knowing fully well that she's the one that put them in the bottom. I don't think that Paul will sacrifice himself or Perez will sacrifice herself. I think that they're both going to choose to stay and they're both going to be blocked from the circle. But we just have to wait and see. Next episode is in 4 days. Yes. 1st of May. So we'll see what it is. I feel like there's way too many episodes for the amount of players that we have, unless more people are coming into the circle, which I would expect, because there's definitely been way more people coming into the circle in previous seasons than they have been in this one. It moves fast, but it moves slow. So I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on, but it is what it is. As far as the episodes went, honestly, I was watching it on 1.5 speed because it kind of dragged. Not gonna lie, episode 5 was juicy, and it was juicy because Cassie and Steffi were giving it to us. They're crazy. Was like just sparkling and beautiful for us to witness. So yeah, it was a little slow. I don't know what episode 9 will bring. Let's hope that it gets even juicier. But it is what it is. Like I said, it wasn't a rant. It was just kind of like an update because, you know, that one person said I should. And it kind of makes sense to just continue on. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Be sure to do all the right things. Hit that bell so you know when I post new videos. A lot of content is coming up. So you do not want to miss it. But yeah, bye.